What's up, everybody? This is the Refined Trader back with another trade breakdown. And today I'm gonna go ahead and break down a ES long that I took today on stream. So yeah, let's just go ahead and break it. This is the entry, this is the exit. So yeah, without further ado, let me just go ahead and clean the drawings and we can go to 10 a.m. so that I will show you guys. So again, that was like a second target that we were looking for also on the stream. Seemed like it got hit. So just gonna go ahead and start with the 4 hour. Start with the daily. Just looking from daily. And again, just from the get-go, we engage with previous daily high. So if price wants to reverse lower, this is the area we'll do it from. There's literally no relevant swing above previous daily high, and also this one stays high on ES for price to reverse. Same story with NQ, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go to NQ. If you go to NQ, same story. Really, if price fails to reverse off of previous daily high, which is Friday's high, this Monday, then most likely we're gonna go to the next relevant swing, or at least some sort of hourly swing here, or to trade back into the current high of day. So that was like the whole scenario for today. So I'm just go ahead and go to 10 a.m. So just go drop down the 4 hours from the get-go. Let me go use the replay, start new, full screen. I was gonna go ahead and cut it to 10 a.m. so to show you guys what I was doing. But first, we'll have to go to NQ because the trade idea was fully based on NQ, and then I execute on ES. Let's go ahead and tell you guys, show you. So first of all, what do we see? We have a CIST here. So now we can anticipate this to be a protected low, and we can use whatever key level within that leg. Either we can use the auto block or a gap, and I love gaps. So in that case, we have this gap also aligned with this auto block, what's so-called like a breaker block. If you really check, this is more of like a breaker, I would say. And again, so I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this into blue. So if you really check the daily open, this is 1800. It traded above. So this is 1800 for me. Price open, traded higher, and then started trading lower, and then engaged with previous daily high. But now what do we have? And again, and also engaged with the relevant gap. If price wants to reverse, it wouldn't really give that reaction, especially look how far price retraced compared to that range. If price wants to reverse from that high, it wouldn't really cause such retracement from that low, from that gap. Looking at this range, we traded back into the EQ to rebalance the range. And also, we have nothing really here for price to reverse other than the high itself. So if I turn on my indicator, which is the PSP indicator, so you guys can go ahead and Discord, you guys will see the link. This is an indicator that I made myself. So this is a gap. What do we have? If you guys see the white candles, this is a PSP. If you don't know what a PSP is, there are a lot of content on YouTube they can check out. So again, first thing we got a PSP, and also we got an SMT. So if you want to ask what the PSP we got it with YM. And YM was not really YM. Yep, it was YM. It was YM. And YM, in that case, it was really decoupled. So it was heavily expanding lower compared to ES expanding higher. And also NQ expanding higher. So we had a decoupled market, and also we got a two-stage. So now what do we have? The PSP confirms the SMT. So this is that true reversal. So again, now we can anticipate this being the low of day. And since the high of day fell to reverse price, so most likely this is going to be the new open draw / objective. So you can also use the high, or you can use the next relevant draw, which is a bit far away. So you can just go ahead and target whatever something in here, irrelevant swing. So either to kind of fill the gap, if it haven't been filled yet, or something in here. Anyways, if we really go to that second stage, let me just go ahead and select a bar. I don't know why it's popping here and not here. Okay, so we got the second stage. So from the get-go, I'm anticipating this to be the low of day. I'm anticipating this to be the low of day, especially the high of day formed off of irrelevant swing and failed to reverse. So now I'm going with the bias that this is an open low, formed the low of day from a 4-hour two-stage cracking correlation. So two-stage cracking correlation, not a two-stage turn switch. So this is two-stage cracking correlation. So now I can just go ahead and go to the hourly and then frame my new swing or 30-minute or M15 that I can trade away from. So dropping down to the hourly, what we can see is from the get-go, what we can see. So I'm just go ahead and cut price from here. We traded above a relevant swing, also within a gap. And what do you guys know? If we're within a gap, if we have price expanded lower, right? And we have a gap, we have two scenarios if price wants to reverse from the gap. Either it will go tap the gap and reverse directly, or it will go expand or range, and then will form a new key level that we can trigger for price to reverse. So in that case, price reacted from the gap, did not trade lower again. We have that SMT, and now we just had the second drive higher. So if price wants to reverse, this is the only area we'll do it from. Like this is the area we'll do it from, especially going in fact that again, price already rebalanced that range, so you can either take out a high within the premium or form a new swing that we can react off of, and that would be that reversal swing. So that's what we had here. So now I'm going with the fact that if price fails to reverse that high, there's nothing really else holding price from going to that high. There are no gaps. This is the only gap we have, both on ES and on NQ. So that shows there's really no expansion to the downside, and we only had that expansion here. So now the only thing I can do right now is just go to the M5 and try to frame a new swing and try to frame that open low for that 10 a.m. candle, and then try to get that expansion away from the low of day into the current high of day, which is the current draw of liquidity. And not only that, we also have a minor gap of that high, and that was the second target for us. So either if price, and we also refined it on a lower time frame, so there's another lower time frame gap here that you can also target. So now, and I like the fact that and NQ takes out the low, and I always prefer the one that sweeps for some reason, even though like this one is the stronger asset, and now it's supposed to get to the high first, but I just like the asset that sweeps. So now go to the M5 where I try to frame my trade. What do we got? We traded above a high. We have that CISD. What do we have? New invalidation level, which is the gap. So now, if price wants to continue higher, this is the only area we'll do from. Either we're going to form a swing, sweep it, and then get that CISD and trade it higher, or just trade higher directly, because now we already tapped the gap. In a similar case on ES, now we got that gap, and price started expanding, but I framed my trade on M3 because I was a bit cleaner. We got that minor gap, we got that sweep with a gap, and now what I was waiting for is just that CISD to go ahead and hit a buy. So going skipping price. Wait. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go here to that candle. So here we got that CISD. I think I was waiting on M5. No, I waited on M3. Here I got my limit. I got my 4 contracts ready on MNQ, not NQ, because I was going with the minis, going for that high. But unfortunately, we did not get that trigger, and price just expanded higher directly. So what did I do? We formed a new gap. So now we got a new invalidation level that we can trade away from, which is the gap. Same case here. But remember, ES is the stronger asset. NQ is the weaker asset due to the fact that I kind of put in a lower low first, right? But now, what do we have? Look at that. ES traded lower first. Since this one is expanding, now this is the weaker. This was the stronger. Now we're seeing the stronger trading back into the gap. Now, that might be a trigger for a strength switch, and price on NQ might not retrace back to the gap and just continue expanding higher. So that was like the whole idea for me. That's why when I saw ES trading back into the gap, I just went ahead and the market executed here. I put my stop at the low 10 a.m. / the body of the candle, and I put my TP at the highs, and that was like the whole trade for me. But again, I did not get failed here. I got such a bad fail. I got like probably a few points away, like somewhere in here, just somewhere in here, because price like reacted instantly. So that was a trade, putting stop at there. So it was like a, looking at it from a RR standpoint, it was like a 1.6, but like in terms of the RR that I got off it, is like a 2R. So it was somewhere in here, I guess. Yeah, I guess like 1.6 or 1.7, one of them two. And then we can just go ahead and later on check the entry price. So that was like the high for me. And also like the second target that you could have also targeted is like this gap. You could have targeted like this minor gap, which is the same aligning with that higher time frame gap. So that was like the whole narrative for me. So I just went ahead and pressed the buy there. I got in with one contract. I put my stop loss here, and I put my TP here. And then what ended up happening is that we got a second candle, which we got a trigger on NQ2, but I was already on ES. Stops at the body, TP at the highs, and then what do we got? A new CISD. So now we got a new invalidation level. So I moved my stop to that low first when we got that candle, but then the minute we traded above that level, I moved my stop to break even, because again, this is extreme premium, and we might see some deeper retracements here. And also my entry is running at AQ, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. And also I was up around $600 at that point. I was up around $600, so I might just go ahead and turn this. If I turn this into a profit, like it will be around $600. So I was like, I don't want to lose a trade after being up $600, so I just moved my stop to break even. And luckily, what ended up happening is price shading back all the way back near my entry. And what ended up holding is the fact that, so again, NQ was the weaker asset. Now it's also treated as the weaker asset. And what we got that two-stage PSP. So we got like a lower time frame PSP here. We got a PSP. And also what we got holding? This new invalidation level. And if you guys check on the stream, what I said, like this is the only area that price can reverse off of. And also we got the order block, but ideally we wanted the gap to hold. So I was away, like, so my entry was 4 ticks away from getting taken out. So 4 ticks, which is like like a point. So yeah, my entry was somewhere around that region. So here in that case, we were preparing to press the FA. The FA is I got a break even or a stop loss. The FA sound, if you guys know it. And yeah, so here we got that 2 trigger. I was anticipating that price, like this is the only area we'll do it from. And luckily we got a clean expansion candle, another clean expansion candle. And I put my stop. So then again, this 95 ticks, 91 ticks. What is that? 1 point below the low, because sometimes price likes to fuck around for some time. And yeah, the next candle, I got taken out, close position, and then price just kind of ranged for a bit, and then it expanded higher. And by that time, yes, NQ haven't really hit the target yet, so you could have held NQ a bit more, or you could have held ES for NQ to hit the high, because there's nothing really here that NQ is going to reverse off of other than the high. So most likely, either this one is going to range to allow time for NQ to catch up, or also, since we got that range already, it's going to just start slowly expanding to the upside. So if you took NQ, that's beautiful. But for me, the other fact that I got this one entry, I went ahead and I hit a market execution. And what ended up happening right now is we are within this gap. And we're just expanding higher. And look at NQ. And the beautiful thing is the fact that this current range haven't really expanded. Like this current average daily range, like before 10 a.m., it was really clean, and price hasn't really expanded that heavily. And especially looking at the 10 a.m., we have that shallow, open low, high, confirmed the opposing candle. Now we got a strange expansion. So who knows? We might just also trade into this high too for like a total of like 5R. But again, I'm fine with my 2R. It was a beautiful trade, and we could have also held it a bit longer, probably for here. And with like the proper entry would have been like a 2.7R. But like NQ was from the get-go like a 2.65R trade. So it was a beautiful trade. So yep, that was a recap for today. I hope you guys learned something. And if you guys don't know, I live stream every day at 9:30. So yeah, see you guys. Catch you tomorrow.